The integration of philosophy can be seen in two opposing ways: internalism and externalism. These ways explain various subjects such as human motivation, knowledge, justification, meaning, and truth. The internal-external distinction is an ontology that divides philosophy into two parts: a philosophy of observation and a philosophy of questioning. Internalism suggests that desires and beliefs are the only reasons for action, while externalism believes that reasons are to be identified through objective features of the world. In contemporary moral philosophy, motivational internalism suggests that moral convictions are intrinsically motivating, whereas motivational externalism suggests that there is no necessary connection between moral convictions and moral motives. This distinction between internal and external reasons is seen in ethics. In action theory, where internal reasons come from one's subjective motivational set, and external reasons come from sources other than one's subjective motivation. The story revolves around the question of whether one has a reason to follow moral laws, even when they do not wish to do so. The externalist argues that Sasha has a reason not to steal from the poor person next to him, despite his lack of desire, while the internalist disagrees. The internalist argues that reasons for action must be able to explain one's actions, and only internal reasons can do this. Within epistemic internalism, there are two main varieties: access internalism and ontological internalism. The former requires internal access to the justifier of a belief, while the latter suggests that justification for a belief is established by one's mental states. The new evil demon problem is an argument that supports internalism by challenging externalist views of justification. It asks us to imagine a subject with identical beliefs and experiences who is being systematically deceived by a demonic figure. Despite this, we still consider the subject to be rational in their beliefs. Externalist views emerged in epistemology in the late 20th century, proposing that facts external to a believer can justify their belief. While internalism requires believers to have internal access to reasons or facts to justify their belief, externalism asserts that the justification for a belief can come from external facts. Reliabilism, a popular form of externalism developed by Alvin Goldman, argues that if the belief results from a reliable cognitive process, it is justified. One can have a justified belief without knowing they are justified, an idea not possible in internalism. Additionally, semantic externalism suggests that the meaning of a word or sentence is not solely determined by an individual's thoughts. This idea can be used to respond to skepticism by proposing that if someone is not a brain in a vat, their statement that they are not a brain in a vat is true, and if they are a brain in a vat, their statement is also true, given the simulated reality they are in. Semantic externalism allows a simulated reality to partially determine the meaning of a statement, emphasizing the theme that external factors can impact beliefs. Bruckner and Warfield attempted to refute skepticism through the concept of externalism, with the argument that our thoughts are about things, while a BIV's thoughts cannot be about things. This theory is referred to as semantic externalism and has two interpretations: cognitive and linguistic. It suggests that our environment determines what concepts are available to us, while linguistic externalism asserts that the meaning of a word is dependent on the environment. Semantic internalism is the denial of either of these theses. Externalism is closely connected to the philosophy of mind, as the contents of our thoughts are considered to be semantic objects. The traditional discussion on externalism dealt with the semantic aspect of mental content but has since expanded to include all aspects of mental activity. The content externalist provides examples such as believing that water is wet and fearing that the Queen has been insulted. The externalist view is often supported by Putnam's observation that microphysical duplicates of individuals in different environments can use the same words, yet mean different things. For instance, Ike and Tina may have identical mothers, but when they say "I want my mommy," their wants may differ because of their unique environments. This suggests that meaning is not solely dependent on the individual, but also on their environment. The theme of this passage is the debate between content externalism and internalism in philosophy. The argument revolves around whether mental content is largely influenced by external factors or if it is inherent in our internal thought processes. The passage discusses different philosophers and their views on the topic as well as criticisms of content externalism. Additionally, the passage briefly touches on the related topic of historiographical internalism and externalism in the study of science. Philosophical Discourse has explored the topic of content externalism versus internalism, which concerns whether external factors or internal processes have a greater influence on mental content. Jerry Fodor and David Chalmers align themselves with the narrow and two-dimensional semantic concepts respectively, while Frank Jackson and John Searle argue for internalist accounts. Critics of content externalism have questioned thought experiments proposed by Putnam and Burge, and contend that it is implausible to ascribe knowledge that isn't required to think or refer to a certain object. Moreover, content externalists are seen as committing to epistemological absurdities, such as the notion of privileged access. The passage highlights that content externalism is only one option among many, and that the topic of internalism versus externalism also extends to the historiography of science. While Imre Lakatos argues for historiographical internalism, Thomas Kuhn supports historiographical externalism where the socio-political climate and economy influences scientific progress.